Hello, party people. What's going on today? You can't see with your glasses on?
No, I can't.
All right. So today I wanted to talk about people holding back their true beliefs or what they really want to do because somebody else doesn't believe in them or doesn't believe in what they do. So, have you ever had a time where somebody you thought you could do something and then somebody didn't believe in you, so you like put it to the side?
um, yeah, I mean that's happened several times in my life, where I've done that, and I've done it here recently, and just today alone, I was chatting with one of my coworkers who is basically he is leaving the company, and he's going to go do some things that I've been wanting to get right into, which he says I'm gonna just start my own business.
Okay.
I'm working on my master's. I'm gonna start my own business. I'm like, wow. He said, you know what? I'm scared to do it, but I just have faith that it's gonna happen. And I was so pumped up for him. I said, man, I have faith for you too. I said, I think you're gonna do it. We were pretty much getting hyped up.
Yeah.
I was feeding off of his energy because I'm like, man, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. But it's, I always use the analogy of, being on the edge of that cliff with a parachute. I'm afraid to jump because it's pretty far down, and I know my parachute's gonna open, but you have those doubts whether or not you can make it. And then when you tell your dreams and goals to people, the people that don't really know you, or the ones that kind of envy you and kind of hate on you, they second guess, your whole goals, your whole decisions,
Hmm.
which makes me second guess.
Okay.
Um, and I know there's a lot of things that we're probably going to face in life that, in order to accomplish our dreams or goals, we have to overcome those fears.
Okay.
And those fears are those things that's going to hold you back.
So, is it a fear? So now you have two fears, right? Because
Yes,
you fear what other people have said you couldn't do,
that's right.
and then you fear that you're going to fail.
Yes,
So, in reality, right? We battle. This is we talk about mental now. We battle in our heads that you are fully capable of doing it, right? Because you
yes,
could be given something that you cannot do, but it's that little baby devil in our head, right? Because everybody say they got the devil and the angel on each shoulder, telling them you can do it. You can do it. Devil said, "No, you
that's
can't. You boys stick in your comfort zone." But when we step out of the comfort zone just a little bit, just like take that first step. What's stopping you from taking that first step? The people or you?
well, it's really you. It's not the people, because I think if you're a strong-willed and have a strong like mind and you're comfortable with who you are, then it's you. It comes down to you. And I think I used to be, which I've gotten out of this, I used to be so concerned with what people thought of me.
Okay.
So I would do a lot of things to to not really please people, but to do those things that they expected me to do, but not what I really wanted to do.
So, but how do you know what they expected you to do?
Well, I didn't, I guess, based off of what they would say. Hey, I think you should do this. I think you should do that. I think you should stay in the military longer. I think you, and you're like, yeah, yeah, but I really want to get out. Oh, well, no, you got to realize we really need you.
So,
You're great at this. You're great
living
at
off of
that.
other people's expectations of you, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. And I know that just people in general, we hold back from accomplishing our dreams and goals because of what people think. And then the thing is, so you remember this in Hawaii when I was doing this one podcast, and we we had someone that came on and was like, "Hey, what are you doing? You think you're this and that?" It's like, oh, I was like, first of all, I don't have to explain myself to you, because when you feel like you have to explain yourself to someone
Mm-hmm.
based off of what you're doing, you tend to wonder, wait a second, are you a real friend, or what? Are you on my side? Are you going to be there to support me? Or are you there to see, hey, Reggie's going somewhere in life? Oh, I'm not good with that because I'm not going anywhere.
That's it
So
right there.
now I'm going to try to hold you back.
That's it right there.
And it's hard to deal with. It is.
But you know,
But
it
go
isn't
ahead.
hard to deal with. It isn't, because I'm sorry. Yes, people think it's hard to deal with, right?
Yes.
But that's where the self-talk comes in, like your self-confidence. Because before we go on a track of, you're not doing something because somebody like, oh, so what you doing now? Like, for me and you, two different people. Me and you have two different responses, two different levels of what we will deal with. And my level is really, really, really low, really low. But it comes back to you knowing what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody says, oh, you think you all that? I, obviously you do, because you're the one
Yeah.
saying it, not me. Like, I think
Yes.
I'm the same person I was today, yesterday, and the day before. But your growth is what people cannot deal with, because they're not growing. And
That's
I
right.
know I said it before on the lives, like, we are all capable of doing whatever we set out to do. Every single thing we want to do, we are all if I'm doing something, you could do the same damn thing. It just won't be in the same way I do it. And
Right.
this whole thing, it's not a competition. Life is not a competition. It is about doing and being for people, to be better for yourself and for those around you. So everybody that comes out and say, oh, oh, you think you all that? Well, I didn't, but thank you for what you have
Just
to
don't
say
eat it up,
about.
huh?
Thank you. I appreciate that. But
Oh,
people, the wrong thought process comes back is, oh, so you think I'm not good enough? So that's what the thought process is. If I say, oh, you think you all that? Well, that's when you start somebody starts getting in your head. Well, what did I say wrong? What am I doing? Did I do something wrong? Did I not look good? Did I not sound right? Did I not tell the right information? You start questioning yourself because of them,
yes.
instead of knowing that you are the one who is achieving everything you set out to. But that's where people, their dreams start to get like masked, right? Because you're like, oh yeah, I got onto this person, I'm doing this, I'm headed next direction. Oh, you think you all that? Oh,
Yes.
you think anybody want to hear what you have to say? Well, maybe no. Maybe no, they don't. And that's when everybody starts to step back from where they want to be, because Susie and Joe done said, you think you all that. But yet then you are all that, right? Because if they had
Right.
that's their first thought, that is absolutely what you are. Yes, thank you. That's what y'all response needs to be. Oh, you think you all that? Well, I wasn't sure how I was, but I appreciate you and your thoughts. I appreciate what you have to say, because everybody, everybody, the talking about people, the gossiping, everything. Yes, it's people naturally do it, but you know what? At this point, as adults, why? Why? Why are we knocking people down for pursuing their dreams or going after what they want to do? If you don't believe in them, don't damn watch them. That's what it boils down to. If you don't believe in what I'm doing, do not watch me. Do not support me. I am okay with that, because there's 100 other 1,000 million people in the world that will support what I'm doing. If I'm not for you, it's all good. But that's the problem. Our mentality, people get caught up in the fact that she didn't like my stuff. So they still watching on the sidelines. You still get because they still watching you. They just watching to see how far you gonna go. Are you gonna pursue the dreams that
Yes.
you have, or are you gonna let them pull you back down?
And so two things here. For one, um, going back to what we previously said about be careful what you tell the people.
Yeah.
And as you're talking, I'm thinking, so if I would never tell people what I'm doing, I would never have to feel that way.
Yes.
And we had this conversation today based off of, hey, if someone says something, don't give them more information
Don't you
than
fuel
what they're
their
asking.
fire.
Oh, oh, you're doing this? Yep. Don't follow back and say, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm yeah, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do this, and now I got the
Yes.
speaking gig next thing you know, you're
Yes.
giving them all this information,
Yep.
and this is their expectation of you. Like, oh man, he's doing this. So the minute you don't do something that you're gonna do,
Yes.
then
Yes.
that's when like, I knew it. Yes. It's like
Yep.
so
He is not going
don't
to do that. I knew he wasn't going to do it.
exactly. Don't don't give them any that I've done some things that I was just I would have loved to just tell the world, man, I just did this. I just did that. Oh my gosh. It was beyond my expectations. But I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And of course people can't hold water. There's
Nope.
some things that I can hold. Some things, but the thing is that you don't know if it's gonna get out. And if it gets out to you, I'd rather somebody tell my story than me have to tell it myself. And
I
a
don't know
lot
what
of
you mean by
times
that.
people,
I don't know what you mean by that.
so they say, meaning that I guess it's in history books or what have you, that when you do something, legends are,
Oh, okay.
people become legends when
I
they're
get it.
telling your story than
Yeah,
you
I
telling
get it.
it.
I get it. I mean, like not you boasting about or what I did.
Right.
Somebody coming and saying, "You see what Reginald did? Like he is
Yes.
amazing."
Yeah. Say that again. That felt
No.
kind of good. Say that again. I don't hear that much anymore. Say it again.
I know. Listen, I mean, you should be amazing, and you be amazing, right?
Yeah. Now I'm like, yeah. So I'm gonna do this today. Uh, but so, and then there was something else that you had said, reference your goals. Um, so going back to telling people, if I didn't tell people anything, it's more of a surprise. Even little RJ not telling anyone, it was actually a surprise to a lot of people.
But
And
see,
there he is.
that
Wow, he
right
wants to
there,
finally say something.
that book, that not telling people is because people didn't have good intentions for me.
Uh-huh.
And that for me, I don't believe in sharing information with people who don't need to know, who don't have good intentions for me in the beginning, right? So you could say "Oh, this friend is so
Yes,
amazing. They got my back, but yet then they got your back in front of you. But then when they go somewhere else, they talking bad about you.
that's right.
But then it's like, okay, for me, I have my intuition. I have always had feelings about people and not want to deal with them. Like I choose to allow people into my energy. Now more than ever, I know how the energy goes and how much when you put some energy into something, how it falls out. Back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, I knew it, but I know more now. So before I'd be like, I don't like that person. I mean, even you, when we met, you'd be like, you don't even know them. I'm like, but I know their energy and what they bring to the table. That speaks more volume than you even opening your mouth to say hello. But the problem is people don't they want to believe what they want to believe. You need somebody to show you they're horrible before you believe that they're horrible because
That's
of what
right.
they portray outside,
That's
right?
right.
So you say to me, you didn't even give that person a chance. Oh, and you're right. And they won't get a chance because I am not going to allow them into my space because they don't deserve a space at my table. They don't. You have to you choose because once you know that they're not good for you and you keep allowing them to come back into your space, now you're intentionally allowing negativity into your circle.
Yes.
So where do you, in the end, who do you blame? Do you blame that person or you blame yourself for
You
allowing
gotta
that
blame yourself.
negativity to continue to come in? And then you say, well, a year, 2 years later, 3 years later, you're like, man, why did I do this? But
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself, what did you need from that person? What did you feel you needed from that person? Because reality, they showed you who they were.
That's right.
You gave them another chance. They showed you again. You get them another chance.
but they're a good person. I know deep down inside they're such a good person.
They're such a good worker.
Yes, until you hit rock bottom, you're like, hey, wait.
Would you want to help me? Yeah, but that's the problem with all of us today. We invest so much time in relationships that we think people, people get you all wrapped up in, oh, you should give that person, give that person one more try. Why? Why? Why should I give you another chance?
There is a motivational speaker, and of course it's in the Bible, about judge a tree by the fruit it bears and not the fruit that it talks about.
Yep.
And I find that to be so true, because you know if they're a good person when you meet them. Just like falling in love. As soon as you see the person, you're like, wow. And they talk, you're like, I actually like this person. It's good energy. I can feel it. Or you can tell, like, I don't really like this person. Something about it is not right. But you're like, but I'm gonna give them a chance anyway.
Yeah.
So, and another thing with that, it's even when you do that, you really have to trust yourself, because it's easier to change you as an individual than it is to change someone else.
Control how you respond.
Right. So you continue to talk to these people like, oh, I'm even in relationships, I'm gonna change this person.
Yes.
You really didn't. You liked them initially, but there's some things you didn't like. You like, the longer I stay with them, I'm gonna change this person to be the person that I want them to be.
So,
and like, what?
So we can look at it both ways, right? So as far as saying somebody changed, for me, because in our marriage, I don't want you to be anybody different. I want you to be the better for me, right? So you could you could come in and say, oh, I used to do this in this marriage. Okay, but that don't work with me and you. So that old thought process, old thinking apparently didn't work, because your old relationship still, y'all ain't together no more, unless you trying to be what's people who gets married to a whole bunch of people. Unless you one of them, the Mormons. Unless you're a Mormon, right?
They do that?
If it's a Mormon, right?
I'm not sure.
But they get married.
Somebody out there watching is telling us exactly.
I know, right?
Like,
don't be mad if I got it wrong. I'm sorry, but
even with that, and I know we're kind of jumping, but even with that, I've learned some valuable lessons. One, which you always say, I don't know why I had this pistol in my hand, but but one you always say, like, don't bring your past relationships and the issues and concerns you had into your new relationship.
Yes.
Just because that person didn't like it doesn't mean you're not gonna like it. Just because this person didn't like the restaurant, that doesn't mean you don't like the restaurant.
Yeah. So with that,
which TV?
People always want to, Michael Pratt, I'm going to send you a link so you can come on and join us and tell us what you're trying to say, because he has he said he has a story to tell. So I'm going to send him a message.
Who is this?
Michael Pratt. I'm going to send him a message and invite him onto the stage so he can say what he has to say.
Okay.
And we'll continue until he comes on. But it's always it's a mental thing, right? What you did in one situation, what you need to remember is when you're in a relationship, you need to change you first, right? Mm-hmm. So if you see something you don't like in another person, it's something you do, or there's a similarity in what you see in that person that's mirroring back to you that you don't like in yourself.
That's right.
So if you continue to take that, we can only control ourselves. We cannot control anybody else's response. We cannot control what anybody else do. We can control how we react to something. Somebody say something to you, you get mad. You be like, have you lost your mind? I mean, what is wrong with you? But it's like, you know what? That's going back to our no expectations, right? Because I've learned more this year that my expectations will fail me every time if I expect Because for me, I'm like, let's do it. We're done. We're doing it. You're like, well, let me analyze this and
Yes.
see how this and this and this works.
I gotta have cause. I gotta have different courses of action.
But
I
that's
gotta,
but that's procrastination at its best. You could call a
well,
dog
I'm
a
trying to
dog,
figure
right?
out which one is the best approach to take,
Okay.
and that's in everything. It's like,
But
okay, if we
if
do
you
this, then
oh, okay. He said he can't. Okay, it's all good, Mike. Michael, we'll talk next time. He said she can't come on. But
okay,
it's all about because he said that he it depends on the context, but I'm not 100% sure. He said judging a person's intimacy versus judging a business partner will feel, 100%. It is, but you still, regardless, a person, how they speak to you, the energy they bring in a relationship, it doesn't matter if it's business, personal, it's still this. If they have negative energy, regardless of what you do, the negativity will always speak before anything they say out their mouth. And it goes for people who, go into a job, right? You hate this job. You hate it. You can't stand it. But are you coming in saying, I hate this? Are you coming in saying, I cannot? I mean, I see these TikTok videos, people be posting talking about, oh, I'm here again. I'm here again. That thought process right there is why you're still, I'm here again. I'm doing
that's
this
right.
because you're not pursuing what you love and you're not loving what you're doing until you get to your next level enough to get to that next place because you'll always, I mean, yeah, somebody's gonna come back and say, oh, they just joking. But y'all promoting that. Like you're going out and say, oh, reposting and redoing somebody and people keep doing it. Like, oh, I'm here again. I'm here again. Oh my God. I feel like I didn't. Every time you go into a situation with that same stupid thought process, you're gonna get the same results as negative as you brought in. Stop looking at it as positive. Yeah, you don't like it, but say, you know what? It's going to take me to my next million because I'm going to figure out, I'm going to connect, I'm going to collaborate with somebody I meet today and get
Yeah.
me where I want to go. But that also goes back to you knowing what you want to do, knowing what your true purpose is. What were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna. It's just negative people, negative environment. No matter where you're at, either the relationship you're in or the workplace, which that's what I did my studies in about
Yep.
the the stress levels in the workplace, what creates it.
Okay.
That has a lot to do with everything. And one thing that people do, they take those same issues that they have at work saying, man, this person has stressed me out. It's not just that person, it's that whole environment because that one person, they will cause a reduced stress level. It is up to
Yes.
the ceiling environment for everyone. Just one person can do that
Yes.
because they're, say, for instance, COVID, a lot of people were working at home. Oh, you should see the workplace now. Now that everyone is back, you got a lot of bitter people that are so mad because why can't I work from home? I worked at home for the last year. I can't stand these people that I work with. I can't believe we have to stay here all day. Why can't we do half day and do go home and do telework? Like, oh my gosh. Obviously, you're in the wrong profession. You need to change your profession and you need to do something else. Start working on yourself. Because
Yes.
right now you're creating a toxic environment for everyone. And now I'm so mad. I got a 45-minute drive home. And I'm thinking about what just happened at work. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And what do? I call you to vent. Now I'm bringing you into this circle of. It's like just think positive thoughts. And if you can't get away from these people, I got it because you're working with them. I don't know. You might want to have a countdown on. Okay, guess what? I realize this is not the place I need to work. So I'm gonna do a backwards planning. 1 year out, I need to pay off all these bills. But in 1 year, I'm punching out. Kind of like when I worked at the chicken plant. For 6 months, every single day, I said, I'm out of this place. It's cold. I'm working in 40-degree weather. Not weather, but this is a huge ice box.
But that goes back to what you allow them to come into your space with, right? So
Exactly.
you choose to sit there and let them talk crazy
That's
instead
right.
of saying, you know what? Just exactly what you said to me is your I know people, so I've talked to several people and my response is I tell people I don't have space for your negativity. If you want to do something different, you need to think differently and change what you're doing.
And what is that response? I'm
How
curious.
am how am I supposed to change it? How am I supposed to change it? I can't change where I work. Cool. Here's what you do. You start more now than before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before it would be like I would tell people, you like the guy in Iraq. Remember the guy that was working in the supply section
Yes.
of the food? When I met him, my thing to everybody is, and I will listen to you. How are you doing today? It sucks. I can't stand this place. And I had to ask him, what sucks about what you're doing? Because remember, he is in an air conditioned building handing out food. And not like hot food. Like, I mean, packages of, and we're deployed. So this is not like this was his job. He wasn't working, it wasn't something he basically, choose to do, right? But the job he was doing, I'm not sure how he got into it, how he got that specific job in the military. But what I'm saying is, he was in an air conditioned building. When if you had looked right outside the door, there was other guys working in a motor pool. There was guys working in the heat. But he was sitting behind a desk handing out whenever people brought in their orders. He would basically give them what they had on their orders, making sure it was good, making sure they got the right count. And I said, what is really that bad about what you're doing? He's like, well, I'm just sitting here. So would you like to be outside in the heat? No. So what then are you really complaining about? The fact that you choose to sit here and do nothing because you could be schooled, you could be reading a book, you could be investing in something that you believe in. If you're an artist, draw, whatever it is your passion is, you can be doing that if your complaint is, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. What could you be doing? What could you bring to the table instead of complaints? That's what we need to start thinking about. What are you doing? And are you allowing? So I'm launching my empowerment kit. It's it comes with crystals, it comes with a book, it comes with a pen and some sage and some palo santos. I say this to say that I've seen several posts along me getting it together, coming up to these days, right? About people not believing in crystals, that it has nothing to do with God and all these different things. So for me, I'm going to tell people I'm going to still do me, regardless of what you think. My belief and your belief can be different, but we still going to strive to do whatever we need to do for
Mm-hmm.
what our purpose and our passion is. So God gave us all different purposes in life. And what your purpose is, it shows God. If you choose to downplay yourself for somebody else's thoughts, that's telling God that you don't care about the passion and the purpose he's given you. That's what you're doing. So when you take and talk out the side of your face about what somebody else is doing, yes, I'm not talking about nothing crazy. I'm not talking about nothing illegal. But when you set yourself up to talk about somebody else and what they believe that their true purpose in life is, when you start to put your beliefs on them and allow them to take themselves back down because they're like, well, if she thinks that, like, who else is going to think that? Nobody's going to support me. That's the first thing people do. We got
Yes.
this problem where don't matter if somebody wants to support you. It doesn't. It is a whole lot of people out there else ready to support the things that you're doing because
Right.
your life isn't dictated around somebody who's negative about what you're doing. It shows them when you see surpass their nasty thoughts, it shows them that regardless of what you say about me, I'm still going to strive and I'm still going to get to the top because I dictate my life. You don't.
And with that right there will fulfill all your desires because it's something that you want to do.
Yes.
So if it's even if it's something small and it's something that no one has any interest in, that doesn't matter. It's something that you want to do, and if you want to do it and
Yes.
you accomplish it, it's self fulfilling. That's how it goes back to what I was saying about success. Even though my definition of success was, I, I thought about that, but when I say that success is an individual
Yes.
your own personal goals. That's what success is. So if that's your goal, no matter what it is, you go out there and you get it. You go
Yes.
out there and get it. And even if you fail, it doesn't matter because you learn something from it. And then two, it's something you want to do. And just that alone, you'll feel more satisfied than doing something that someone else wanted you to do because they say, "Oh man, look at you, you done it. You're so successful." Yeah, yeah, I went to college because my parents wanted me to go to college. It's not what I wanted to do. I want to be like these millionaires out here and drop out of college and do this and do that. But now somebody then took my idea. They didn't really take it.
They didn't take it. But you know what? That's that right there. So failure isn't failure.
That's right.
Failure is just you need to look at that thing differently and go about a different route. Failure means this is not the way you're supposed to go. There's something better by doing it a different way. And the stealing your idea thing. When we and you first met, we won't talk about exactly what it is, but I told you that God gave you a gift.
You sure did, girl.
If you
Say it again.
choose to ignore the gift, it will be taken away.
Yes.
Because God is using you to do something specific and you're choosing to do something else. So when people say, "Oh, so and so stole my idea," no, they didn't. You didn't take action on that idea that you were given. You sat on it and I don't know what you were doing, planning the life, planning the things, planning your steps. But in reality, God said, "Well, I gave you multiple years.
Yes.
You still didn't do it. So, well, nobody stole it. God gave it to somebody else because they're like, this person got dreams and aspirations too, and I need this to help these many people."
Yes. And with that, there is no such thing as a perfect time. And as you know, and you just said it, is that I wait. I'm like, all these steps have to be in a row before I actually go live. That's
Yes.
probably why you don't tell me what topic we're going to talk about for the day, because you know me. You tell me a topic, I'm gonna start planning. Okay, now I need to say this. I need to say that. I can't
Yes.
forget about
But
this. I'm gonna write
so
it
much
all down.
success comes out of just
Yes.
doing it.
And another thing is that, and I read this in the daily, what do you call it, scriptures you gave me the journal, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It was in there today, and it says, "Do not plan for tomorrow. For one, it's not promised,
Yeah.
and two, you're gonna miss out on all your opportunities for today." And it said that God only gives you one day to deal with your problems or deal with anything you have going on. Your mind is not capable of handling tomorrow or the next day. So
Yeah.
enjoy the day.
Yeah.
And I did that for years, years. And I realized I was planning so much for tomorrow that I was not enjoying today. Even if something great happened, I'm already thinking about, well, tomorrow I need to do this. And it could go for work, for family events, whatever. You're always planning. And next you know, I'm planning this big party and something else is happening that you have no idea about. And by the time the party started, no one shows up. Because you're like, dude, you didn't realize. And that's not just my problem. I know that's a lot of people's problem because we plan. What one guy in my office said, he's a former Marine and a former Navy guy. They said the Army, they plan to plan to plan.
Yep. With 10 formations and 10 this and 10 that.
Yes,
What like
yes.
we
And I
met,
thought about it,
what
and
y'all
at first,
formationing about? What y'all doing?
yeah, and at first I got defensive. I got defensive about it. I'm like, whoa, whoa, don't talk about the Army. Yeah, because we do this. But I thought about it, I was like, it's almost like you you want to talk about mom, don't talk about mom. I'm the one want to talk about my mama
Well,
or
I
what
mean,
have you.
that's what you
So
believe.
don't talk about the Army.
You
Only
know, I
I
can
know
talk
the
about your
Army.
mama.
Yeah, but then when I thought about it, I said, wow, we do plan to plan. We would have a lead up, and not just that. If they say a formation or meeting was at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Y'all plan.
everybody, yeah, everybody below that, they're now backing it up 15 minutes. By the time he got to the lowest ranking man at the bottom, instead of 6, he's in at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
And he's like, he's waiting around like, I've been sitting here 2 hours. Now we have formation.
Yep.
Everybody's playing it, have their own plan, and you don't realize what you're doing to those people. And that goes for everything within an organization. Everything you do at the top of the level, at the top, you need to go all the way back down to the bottom to see what information is reaching to the bottom.
Yes.
And then talk to your employees, talk to those subordinates down there to figure out what's going on. Then you'll find out there's a whole lot of issues, things that you're talking about. And I know I'm jumping, but even I heard so many leaders we had these huge huddles, and they would say, just senior leaders, and they would say, well, we had a suicide, and it's because of something happened in this immediate family, this and that. And I looked at them, it's like, what? I said, first of all, let's peel this banana back, because y'all had them working on the weekends, going to the range and stuff. You had them working every day until 9 o'clock at night. He had financial issues. He had all these issues that we could have fixed as leaders to actually take the time out of our so-called busy day and sit down and coach these young subordinates about what they need to do, which goes back into their behavior, health, and how to help them. Let's take, if we would just take the time out of our busy day to sit down and talk to our subordinates, or talk to even our family. Because something that you told me before we had this discussion about, when we say you can't do that, which is the topic of this episode here, people doubting your skills about doing something. At what point do we tell our kids you can't do something?
Exactly.
At what age? What age does that happen? And why do we think it's okay to do it as adults? You wouldn't tell your kid they couldn't be an astronaut, or you couldn't be a doctor, a lawyer, or a policeman, or even a soldier or an airman. We would never tell our kids that. But we're so quick to tell an adult that.
Yep.
And even in the Bible, I don't know if it's in the Bible or not, but I read the scripture about it. And I hear motivational speakers always talking about it. Is if you're still living, it's not too late.
It isn't. It's never too late. It is never, see, the problem with people is they look at what's in front of them, and I can't have that. Yes, you can. You absolutely can have whatever you want. You can be. If you don't have the talents to do it, it will come. It will come. You just have to take action and do it. Somebody will show up. I want to do this. Somebody may show up and just say, hey, somebody may pop up on your Facebook, request you as a friend. You never know how it's going to come. But that's the problem with people today. They are so busy trying to figure it out for themselves that they absolutely miss everything that is going. So it just comes into a point where they say, I can do this. I may not know how to, but I want this. This is what I want to do. You want to be an astronaut? It's nothing stopping you except for you. Everything we do, everything we say out our mouth, it creates. So the minute you say, I can't do that, you're so right. You are so right. You can, because now you've created that. Nothing ever goes right for me. And I know I've seen so many people, nothing ever goes right for me. But where do you think that's happening? If you go into a situation and you get in a car accident, you know what? Thank you, Lord, I'm still alive.
That's right.
That car can be repaired. It can be replaced. Don't go to the rest of your day saying, oh my God, I got in a car accident today. The rest of my day is going to be so horrible. Just know that one instant, the only thing that was horrible is the thought you had when you got into that accident. It wasn't the accident, because yes, if somebody got hurt, that's horrible, right? But at this point, that doesn't ruin your day. It doesn't. Start your day being grateful. Something happened. You know what? Bump in the road. Let me keep going on. You know what? Just because that bad thing happened right now doesn't mean that the rest of it is going to be horrible. But if you think it, guess what? About 10 other horrible activities are going to show up right in front of you. But if you had just changed your thoughts, change your thoughts, because our thoughts create. And the minute we put it out there, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, because everybody does not believe in the same thing, and that is absolutely fine. But I'm telling you, the universe says, oh, you didn't like that? That means you want some more of it. Because you're like, oh my God, I
Right.
cannot believe this happened. Oh, because the universe doesn't know negative or positive. It just hears you complaining about this same thing over and over again. The more you complain about something, that's saying, oh, this is what I want more of.
Yeah, and you may not even know you're doing it. Whoever is out there doing it, you may not even know it. For instance, when I was driving with Brianna,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize how bad I had anxiety with driving.
Mhm.
Meaning that because my combat experience, we didn't wait in traffic.
Yeah.
So anytime traffic would happen, I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was like, oh my gosh, look at, are you kidding me? What are you doing? Don't you see that everybody's in the same line? Everybody has to merge, and you're going all the way in the right hand lane. You got to go all the way up and then cut over. Really? What do you? How do you think? And I didn't realize what I was doing until Brianna had said when I stopped. I didn't even say anything because I was working on me. I was like, okay, I need to calm down. You know, I need to calm down. I need to control my anger because this is not right. Always
Yep.
think positive thoughts.
Yep.
But we stopped at a light, and it was red, and it turned green. But the person in front of me is not going. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm about to honk this horn. No, no, I'm gonna do it. And next, you know, Brianna, like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You go. And I turned around. I was like, and that's when I came home and talked to you, and I says, I didn't realize what I was doing. Not just that I didn't realize it, but because what I was doing is now impacting other people
Guys, he used to drive my baby all the time.
all
Ask,
the time. Oh,
ask him, ask him if he was able to continually drive my baby.
no, because I wouldn't get off. I didn't get off of work on time.
Well, that's a whole nother topic.
Oh, okay then.
I
Well,
mean,
I
we
don't
can
even.
talk about it now.
No, no,
We can
no.
talk
Let's not
about
talk
it
about it.
because
No, let's not talk
that
about it.
goes.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because next, you know, and I just need to throw this in there. Just to throw this in there because I think a lot of guys are on the same boat here. I think a lot of guys out there are thinking the same thing I think. The minute we say one thing, we end up saying another thing, which that's not it. So we're just digging a hole. Next thing you know, I'll be in a doghouse right over here, and I'm not gonna dig any more holes. So whatever you
I
think
mean, at
I
this
did,
point, they
I'm not
want
even
to
gonna say
know.
nothing.
They want to know now. So we were stationed in Hawaii, and Brianna was at a daycare, a babysitter on his base. The base was 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, yes,
20
25,
minutes.
20, 20, 25.
Yeah. So what I asked my wonderful husband, I said, because I started noticing he wouldn't leave work till 5, right? 5. Now 20 minutes, right? 20, 25 minutes, that's 30 minutes, right? Depending on traffic. 5 o'clock he would drive, and depends on the day. The babysitter, she was amazing. So she didn't care if Brianna stayed late because her girls love to play with her. But that means my baby, because she was so exhausted on that 25-minute drive, by the time she got home, she was sleeping. And the kind of mother I'm that mother that we don't go and play in nobody dirty streets all damn day, and then we come in and we just get into bed. We taking baths. We gonna take them. I don't care if you sleep, you still gonna bathe. You, we don't do dirty. We don't get in with the outside clothes in the bed. Let's just put that out there, right? So I would still bathe my baby. And, some days she would sleep while I bathed her. Some days she would get up and be upset because she didn't want to bathe. She just wanted to sleep. Well, in order to save my marriage and my mental health, because I'm calling him over and over from my base saying, can you just please leave early? His response was, I am in the army. We have work to do. I just can't get up and leave work because I have to take my daughter home. Let me explain to y'all. I'm not sure who and what, if anybody's been watching us. My husband was one of the top rank in the Army. The top. So when you're at the top, you make your own decisions, you make your own choices. You don't answer to nobody. You tell them what you're going to do, and they're just going to respond to you. Okay, you got a meeting. We're going to change this meeting because I got to save my family and my marriage, because if I don't, my wife's going to kill me. That's the wife I am. But to save my marriage and my mental health, because I'm battling with myself, like, why is it I am asking? Like I say, can you please just come home just a little bit early? Even if you have to leave a little bit early and even go back to work, because I know who he is and how he is. If you have to go back, that's something. I mean, we've done it for this long. We keep doing it, right? He would leave. When we were in Germany, I brought Brianna home. So I would be home with Brianna. He would come home late. We were cool. But I asked this man to get off work just a little bit early so my baby wouldn't be asleep, so I can get to spend some time with her. And he told me the Army can't just get off. Well, I say that to say this. I started leaving work because the traffic going to his base started at what, 3?
Yes.
I started leaving work at 2:30 every day.
Air Force can do that.
Shut down city. I don't care. I don't even care if I was in the Army. Shut down city. I'm going to do what I need to do for my child, right? Because I believe that my time is valuable with my baby. These people that are killing you and running your life aren't going to be there for you when you get sick or when that same child is sick. So for me, I wanted my time with my baby. I didn't want her to have to come home at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, sleep, and then mommy, because then I'd be the bad guy because you're not getting the bed dirty. So I left work every single day at 2:30. I mean, if you won't come talk to me after 2:30, you can hit me up on my phone and we can handle what we're going to handle, but nothing is that more important than my child. So I left every day and went to pick my baby up and brought her home, and we went and we stopped ice cream. We did little things, but that's what I did for me because that's who I am. That's what so mentally, instead of dealing, because I'm gonna tell y'all, we could have been divorced a whole hell of a long time ago, dealing with the crap that we've been through mentally. And it has to do with mental. It ain't even about saying, oh, Army, Air Force, they can do this, they can do that. It's mentally what you're dealing with, because his thought process, my thought process, we on two different levels. We have always been on two different levels. We have thoughts. We know that things can go the same way. We have same passions. We have same desires, but our thoughts are on two different planes. And what I believe is okay to do, he may not believe is okay to do, or he may believe that that don't got to be done right now. For me, I'm like, we need to do it right now. We shut it down. Let's get it over and done with. Let's do it. But yes, to save my mental and my marriage, I went and picked my child up, because then I wouldn't have to worry about fighting with him about bringing my child home and making sure she's home in time. I did it myself. And a lot of people will go out there and say, everybody's like, oh, you're an alpha female. That's why you did it. I don't give a damn. I believed I wanted my child home at a certain time, and it didn't have to be at 5 o'clock. It just had to be early enough so I could spend time with her. So yes, the bases were too separate. We didn't have the option we could have changed her daycare. Yes. But in reality, it didn't work out because the base I was at, there was no care for her that I trusted. Because everybody was pop up, it was like the sideline things. And my child grew a bond with these people. So do I pull my child away from who she grew a bond with because me and her daddy can't make a life decision about him leaving on time? Or even earlier? Because 5 o'clock, what they say, would you say Air Force work bankers hours, right?
Yeah, bankers hours. What is it? I think it's bankers hours like 9 to 3 for the Air Force.
Hey, at this point,
and it's sad that I would go to work before y'all wake up, and I would get home after y'all was asleep.
And did you get any more done out of the day than we did in a day? That's the one we got to look at. Right?
But our mission, and I don't want to just talk about the military, but our mission is a little different. But here's the thing that struck me very hard, and I've already said this a couple of times. But first, let me back and say, General Preston told me one time as I was about to leave the Army. He says, Sergeant Major, If you ever have to go to any events for your kids, go. It doesn't matter what kind of meeting we have, go. He says, because we will more than likely not miss you in this meeting.
Sure will. Did they
He
miss
said,
you left
and
too?
and if there's something we need, we'll just have another meeting. We're going to plan a plan. He said, but if you was to miss some recital or any type of event that one of your kids have, they're always going to remember that.
That one event. That
Yeah,
one.
that one event. But we were so stuck in like, oh, we got to accomplish a mission, and we're needed because we're at this level, and this is so much more important. And what happened, babe?
You make this thing more important. What truly matters
Yeah,
when
and the whole time I'm
nobody
thinking,
cares.
well, no, my family is more important.
Well, because
I would like to say that.
your thought process, your family is more important, but they're always gonna be
Yeah, it's like they're gonna be there, and it really hits you. And I've said this probably 1,000 times, and I say this to people that I'm around daily: is that you think that you are so important, no matter what rank you wear in your chest. You think you're so important that they're gonna miss you.
there.
They're not gonna miss you.
They're not. They're going to replace you with the next man that come in because
Yes,
you
and
can say body. It's not
yes,
you.
and
It's
when you
body.
leave, exactly, and when you finally hang up your hat and say, "I'm out," I turn around. I was like, "Yo, knocking on the, hey, yeah,
Hey,
hey, I
he was
forgot my
going.
hat."
He was going
Uh,
to change his phone number, y'all,
yeah,
because he was
and I was
afraid that
saying to them,
everybody would call him.
exactly. I was like, well, because I didn't want to carry two phones, so I gave everybody for almost 4 years. I was working that position in Hawaii. I gave my personal cell phone to. Matter of fact, it's still in this phone right here. All the probably 1,000 numbers. I don't even know how many hold, but I says, yeah, I'm gonna have to change my phone number because all of these people are still gonna call me. I think how long did it take? About 2, 3 months, and no, not even that long. Okay, some people still call me, but those
Just to
people are
check on.
always there. But the
Yes,
people at work that does daily
yes.
duties and as far as work related, as soon as they found out I had a replacement, that was it. I didn't get any calls. And there's people probably out there right now who's probably gonna watch this. It's like, yo, look, there's some Magic B. Yo, I need to call him. I haven't talked to him in 3, 4 years. And then we go out, it's like, man. But it's gonna be like that. We never even were apart because that's how strong we are in the army. That's the bond
Goodbye.
that we build
Goodbye.
in the army. Now I can't say that for all the other services out there, but I'm just saying about that with the army. That's we build team of teams. We build a brotherhood and a sisterhood. That why are you laughing? I mean, this is
Because you build up this, you still have this thought process. The army is so. I
well.
mean, I got people that I work with that we could talk like, oh my God, do you remember this and this and this and this and this? It ain't just the army.
Well, yeah,
But the
I'm just
point
curious to
is,
know. This
y'all.
could be another episode because I'm curious to know what y'all talk about. And, like,
I
like
mean,
I'm
even
not, I'm not. I guess it sounds like I'm hating,
yeah, a
but
little
but
bit,
I'm
right?
not. And here's the thing: I thought that we were all basically on the same sheet of music. We were all speaking the same language. No, that we definitely do not speak the
No,
same language.
no. But that goes back to people even now, begin in the beginning we talked about how all those soldiers, that you deployed with, how they have mental health issues and feel like they have nobody to talk to. They have this, but that's the thought process. Y'all think that because y'all were this great and mighty so and so in the army, that y'all could bring y'all behinds home and act like y'all want, like you doing big things. You ain't doing nothing big. Like you're not doing anything big. Let me say that again. You don't get to treat people, your family, like,
That's right.
oh, you come home like, oh, I am this and this. I am Sergeant Major so and so. Okay, boo, bye. Don't nobody care up in here that you Sergeant Major so and so. Give me one.
I'm glad I never acted like that though. Like
Boy,
I
bye.
had.
You were the first person to act like that. You were the first. The first. You listen. This man, let's take about down 2 notches, right? He thought he was
Uh,
doing big things. big things because
No,
he
I think
so
you
I
thought
mean,
I was doing big
where am
things.
I? No. So I went to his office and people were like, oh, you were married to Sergeant Major Butler. Whoop-de-damn do, girl. He's still a man just like the rest of them. Like at this point, the Sergeant Major y'all dealing with ain't the fool that I'm dealing with at home. Like, so let's get it right. Let's get it right. Y'all walk around here. I'm not gonna say everybody. I'm just gonna talk about my husband. I'm not gonna talk about anybody else. But the person he was at work is not the person he was at home. He was so attentive to what people needed, but couldn't tell you what I needed. Couldn't.
Is this
Couldn't.
another episode? Because I think that I hold on now. What we got? What?
I'm just saying, you walking
This
around
is
talking about, I'm glad I never did that. But
uh,
sir, let's be real. Let's be real.
okay. Let's be real. Let's go.
You
Let's do this.
you
Let's
could
do this.
you are like attentive. Oh yeah, sir. I need, we doing this, we doing this, we doing this.
Yes.
But when I ask you something, it's like, okay, I'll do it. 2 hours later, now he doing it. I don't do things on your time. But let Major so and so ask you. Oh yes, sir. We gonna get that right now. Let me go ahead and call up my team and let me get my team on it. Oh yeah, Major so and so need this right now. Okay, y'all. They be here in 5 minutes, sir. 5 minutes. But let me ask him to do something. Babe, I was gonna do it. When? Oh, when I was done doing what I was doing.
But so
So
you got
mental.
me up here, kind of speechless right now. So I know I'm not the only one now. Okay, it's between me and you, but and I'm glad we're talking about it
Okay.
because there is hundreds of people that I know that are doing the exact same thing. And I'm not saying that it's right. It's definitely not right. It's just the fact that when I was in those boots, in those uniforms, my priorities were different. At least I thought, because here's the thing.
Why should
Because
they?
wait. So here's the thing. You got me fired up now. So here's the thing. You really got me. You got my temperature up right now. Because it's almost like the the things that we do and the things that we do not do can cause lives. So I know because I'm up here right now. Okay, I'm up here.
Bring it back down a level or two.
No,
Or
I want to keep it up here because no,
because some major wanted something not important
not
and you
just
did it right there and there.
a major. It's the whole thought process of being at that level and the way you think is that my decisions and the things that I do on a daily basis, it could be something from small to something way up here about priorities. My decisions that I make or the influence that I have or whatever I have to do for that day is just as important because these actions or these decisions that we are doing has a lot to do with saving somebody's life.
Pause.
So we
Pause.
train as we fight. So therefore,
No,
no,
you
no.
you're cute. You're real cute right now. You trying to take what I'm saying
Well,
and
I'm
try
not
to take
saying,
an instance
yeah. So
that
I'm not saying that your priorities aren't
no,
important.
no.
Um,
You're trying to state that, oh, we saving lives. Boom. If I'm gonna say y'all had a meeting, upon meeting, and y'all just talking, ain't nobody saving no damn lives or nothing. It's a normal day.
Now
And
I can't
somebody
speak
asks
for
you to do
everybody,
something.
but when I go into the meeting, that's the way I'm thinking. Is that
No, no, no.
no?
You no.
But here's the thing that I know, and I would looking back, it was wrong. Now I'm admitting it to everyone. Putting the mission first was wrong if it didn't have lives on the line. Meaning that those little small tasks that can wait, I should have put you first. I should have put my family first. I just didn't like the fact that I would have to go home knowing that I left something on the table at work.
And then, but y'all will go back. So here's the deal. It's times, and he trying to make this, when you try to make something that you was hella wrong, but you trying to add a little ad lib onto it because this is why I did it, right? Because if, I know I was wrong, but I just didn't like to do that. But yet then the next day they're going back to fix whatever they didn't like, or somebody didn't like, because of the fact that it wasn't done the way they want to. So you're continuously doing something over. I'm not even talking about one instance. I mean, we've been together for how long? We've been together 12 years. 12.
Yeah.
We've been married for 9.
Yes.
Our oldest child is 7.
Yes.
And you up until Brianna was, when did you retire? 4? She was 4 or 5? She was 5, right? Because
5.
when I had my surgery,
5.
she was 5. And that was right as you retired. Up until then, you still did it. You did it for
Yes.
5 years of Brianna's life. 5.
Yes.
Right? So at this point, regardless if you want to pull cherry pick, because we cherry picking now. Oh, if it was a mission, this was a good reason. But I shouldn't have done this. But you did it, right? And people, I guarantee people are still doing it. And Bovia said, at work you got to work, but who trying to do work at home? It ain't about doing work at home. It's about.
So I stayed at work.
But that made it okay, right? Because
that didn't make it okay, because I've missed dinner a lot of times. You always had the food in the microwave. I appreciate that.
So staying at work was better than coming home and just doing something at the house. But see, that mentality, it's still taken back to what you wanted was more important than everything else, because you stayed at work. Why? To not have to come home and do what you were supposed to do, because the house for 2 people, like 2 people are responsible for this one child. But when one person is more responsible than the other, but this other person, I'm in the Army. We ain't like the Air Force. We can't just pick and choose when we want to come home. We can't just leave work. We can't leave early.
So two things for that I've learned, and I would like to share, because if you're still serving, you need to know this. You need to know this. First of all, always put your family first. Always put your family first, because if your family is not taken care of, no. So why are you laughing, babe? Because I need to know.
Michael said, "Is that how you sounded?" It was. Babe, no, you will always be there.
I didn't say that. I may have said that in uniform, but my actions didn't really. I didn't follow through on my actions. Now, I did always try to take care of the soldiers. I always try to at least let them, if they didn't have no work to do, I tried to cut them loose.
So that ain't my point, pimp. Listen.
I know.
Listen.
I know it's not, so here's the thing that I really, really learned.
Okay, let me let you
This is the second point. And that's it. This is the second point. That's it. Is I have realized that if I can apply the same amount of focus,
there you go,
energy, motivation, dedication, all this stuff to my family and to me, I would be, man, babe.
And what did he say, y'all, when he was for those who watched it, his success, right? He wasn't as successful as but if he had did what he was supposed to do when he got out, the amount of energy he gave to the Army.
Yes.
25 years.
Yes.
The energy you gave to them.
Yes.
And you did that for you, me, everybody else.
Oh my goodness. We'd be untouchable.
Succeeded where you wanted to be. But that's what it goes back to mentality. We sit here and we give so much energy to things that don't damn matter. And then in the end, you like, even in a relationship, this relationship ain't working, but you continue to give your energy to this relationship, to this person. And y'all know y'all not supposed to be together. For 100% fact. Ain't no way y'all gonna make it. You need to just go about separate ways, but y'all holding on for what? So that the crap that you feel that you want, You don't want them to give it to somebody else. You give all your energy to this job. You hate your job. You walk into there hating it every day. But what are you doing about it?
That's
Where are
right.
you what are you doing past complaining? Because complaining don't get us nothing. It just gets us the same nasty, nasty revolving circle of you not having nothing, going from bill to bill to bill, talking about I need something better. I gotta do better. I gotta do this. I gotta do talking don't do nothing. Where's your action? So I say that today, for those who are they know 100% know they're sitting in a spot and they're not doing what their hearts desire. They may not even know their passion, their purpose. You may not know. Dig deep and sit with yourself and figure out what you're passionate about. And when I say, people say your purpose in life, right? If you could do something and you would never get paid for it, but you absolutely love to do it.
Mhm.
What is that thing? And are you doing it right now? And come back and say, stop complaining about your job.
What? So I guess I'll pick up about that.
I'm back. Something
Because something
come
just
on.
happened. So I guess it's my show now.
I
So
know.
so
Go ahead.
don't
Do
so
it big.
so listen to your surroundings and know that be ready when the opportunity comes. Because what just happened, that was an opportunity for me to go ahead and take the mic, take the lead. I won't be no co-host. I now be the host.
Do it big.
And I was about to. I was. It got me at first. I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? Oh, I'm live. It's all me now. I
Yeah.
need to be ready. I need to do this.
Yes. But that's the thing. So people need to I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but it's time to start looking within. It's time to decide, do I continue to complain or do I make the moves to do what I need to do for me and mine? You even if you don't have a family, right? Are we preparing to have a family? Are we preparing to what are we preparing for? Because in the end, if you just go into a job and complain every day about how you hate the job, what are you really doing? Nothing.
You're part of the problem.
That bottom line. You are the problem because you are not teaching. And then you turn around and teach your children the same thing. I'm going to complain because I hate my job. I hate this.
Right.
Mommy, can I have this? We can't afford that. What's wrong with you? You think money grow on trees? Like, can we break the cycle now? Like, it is 2021. It is time to break the cycle of that negative thought process, those negative thoughts about how, oh, I hate my job. Okay, let's hate it a little less. Let's just say we dislike it. We're using it as our step up to get where we need to go. What do you need to do to get to that next step? So today is the 14th. By the end of the month, have a plan, have a decision. Decide what you're going to do and what you want to do for you. Because in the end, it's not about anybody else. It's about what's going to benefit you. But then you have to ask yourself, what are you holding off for? Why are you procrastinating on your dreams? Why are you procrastinating on you? Because you can disappoint you 100% and nobody will never know, right? Because you say to yourself, well, I'm going to do this. And then you don't do it, but nobody don't know because you didn't say nothing.
That's right.
And when the outside world doing 100 things, you're like, man, oh, I was going to do that. What you mean? What's that mean? What you mean you was going to do that? Because at this point, now you're saying you were going to do that because I did it? What what were you going to do because you didn't do nothing? You didn't. So, what are you going to do past this? Because we could do this all day. But until you take action to do something better, you will always have nothing. And you will always look at somebody else with hate because they took that leap and took action.
That's
Stop
right.
sitting around waiting for something to come and fall into your plate. Start making those intentions and setting them and doing what you need to do. You get an inkling to draw it, post it, share it, however you need to do it, however it comes out for you, however you feel, but you got to take action to do it. You got an
And
idea?
don't listen to anyone.
Stop
Don't listen to
listening.
all the negative. Regardless, whatever you post, there is guaranteed to be somebody that's going to
Yes.
put something negative on it.
Yes. That somebody has a negative thought about it. Post it anyway.
That's
You
right.
they don't like it. I mean, don't go out there and post all this negative crap. Let's just stop that too. I'm not talking about negativity. I'm talking about positive. If you have an idea and you post it and you think it's the most amazing thing, I think it's amazing too. Don't matter what anybody else thinks. It matters what you think about what you're doing and what you need to do for you. That's where we're at. What do you need to do for you? So I will say that next week I'll be by myself. So if anybody wants to join and have a chat, come on with me. I'm still here. I still can open it up to people who want to come, but we've been on for an hour and we're going to cut it short, and not really short, but we're going to cut it off now, and we'll come back next week and have another chat about mental health and what and where we're going. All right, y'all. Have a great night.